Hi, I'm Sophie.
Hi, I'm Paul, and we are
SP Film Viewers.
So it's another Patreon pick episode, and this time it's one of the rare occasions where Sophie's seen a film, but I haven't.
Both of the choices as well. It's not like it's just
No, exactly.
one film. Obviously, we are just reviewing one of them, but it's still the fact that I've seen two films that Paul hasn't seen. And to be honest, I think you're not going to like them, so I don't know why you've done this to yourself.
I don't know. I really don't know. I was just throwing you a bone, but I think it was going through like, okay, what can we do for that, and just going through Disney Plus, and that, to be honest, that platform, I think it's because they own a lot of Fox properties. Now, there's a lot more on there that's like a choice than what Netflix offers, to be quite frank.
Really?
I think now. We tend to spend a lot more time on Disney Plus than we do on Netflix. So the odd
Apart from
shows.
like TV shows,
Yeah.
isn't it, on Netflix?
Yeah,
I'd say?
films is, yeah. But, and they're both on there. I'm thinking, I know you've seen both of those, and also they both star Melissa McCarthy.
Yep.
So I thought that was like a fair balance, really, in a sense. And it turns out that they're both directed by the same guy as well. So it's yeah. So okay, I'll go with that. And,
I do think one is worse than the other, actually. You got off lightly with what the Patrons picked.
yeah, and with that though, I went to check like what the stats were, but I accidentally clicked on it myself. I was just like moving on my phone, and I didn't mean to vote, but because it would have
Have
been
you fudged the numbers, Paul?
No, it's fine. So obviously the patrons, they might see on what the stats say, but one of them isn't accurate. So it is now the Heat that we are going to be talking about.
Not Spy.
Not Spy, no, because that was the one I accidentally pressed.
You would. I don't think you'd have tolerated it.
No.
Her, Melissa McCarthy,
Yes.
ness is a lot more ramped up.
Okay, so I think the Heat. What I mean, it's got Sandra Bullock in, so I don't know if it'd be too super cringe or not, but
Sandra, what? Why does
no,
that make it?
No. I'm by saying that she kind of levels it out a little bit. Is what I mean.
Yeah, agreed,
Not that
yeah.
she's no.
I thought you meant she was going to make it worse.
But
Like,
you
no,
know-
because you've got Sandra Bullock in it, I think it kind of makes it a
Well,
more
okay.
all-rounder film.
Okay, right.
I think you'll enjoy the Sandra Bullock element.
No, yeah, I'm hoping so.
You know.
Yeah. Okay.
So they were nice to you, actually, I think. Because Jason Statham, does he really act? I don't really know if
It's
he
just
can
he's like in Snatch, where he's just the same kind of.
Yeah, he's just the same in every role.
And I guess we'll see how Melissa McCarthy plays up in this one. But you obviously you have more knowledge than me.
Oh, I don't have a gripe with her like you do, so...
No, I don't dislike her completely. It's not like an Adam Sandler thing or anything like that. But
I think you just don't like female comedians. Like,
That's-
Miranda Hart is in Spy, and you absolutely despise her.
yeah, she's not very funny.
She is. I just don't think it's played to your audience. I think that's what it is.
Because I'm a man.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll stick this on and see what comes out the other side.
What part of I'm out do you not understand? I'm out.
You want to go out? We'll take you out.
Lie to me again. I want to feel your body sliding through my delicate hands.
Okay. Is that a warehouse on Summer Street?
I'm almost disappointed.
Get me out.
All right, let's pull him up.
Okay.
No, wait, I'm not kidding anymore. Really, I can't lift him up.
What?
I can't lift him.
Lift my ass up.
Just tuck your head and relax your body.
Lady, what the?
God, crap.
Get me out. Get me out.
Ah. He's all right? The metal car broke his fall?
And we are back, having seen the Heat.
You don't sound really enthusiastic to be back, Paul. What's your problem?
It's sort of what I sort of expected to a degree, but I'm kind of in the same way, sort of a bit thankful it wasn't too like cringe is the word. Yeah.
No, I don't get it because I cringe at films, and I don't find this as cringy as like Bridesmaids, where she shits in the middle of the street. Now that's cringy. So
Yeah.
you need to delve into what made you cringe. You can't just say it's cringe.
No, yeah, we'll get to examples of
Because
that.
shitting in the street is cringe. Nothing that Melissa McCarthy did really was cringe, apart from being
Well,
ballsy.
I mean, no, there's other stuff.
What, the flipping people off?
Well, just her attitude in general.
Yeah, what you mean?
A tiny bit. I'm meaning, for example, like there's a lot more that happens later on, because I think I was kind of getting to my wits end a little bit with things. But like for one of the first examples, fair enough, when she's busting that guy who's like a prostitute and looking for a prostitute, fine, whatever.
It's like her opening scene, isn't it, where you kind
But
of get introduced to the
when
character.
she's trying to, I can't fit into this car space. I'm gonna have to clamber through cop cars that just happen to be open. And like, oh, look, it's funny because I'm fat and I'm trying to get through it. It's just that kind of like,
Yeah.
isn't this funny?
I can see, it did make me chuckle a little bit just because I can relate as a biggish girl, like when you can't get out. But also I think it's showing the resentment between, that's like the first encounter these two people have. So you've got your good cop and your bad cop, I feel.
Yeah.
So you've got Sandra Bullock, who's Sarah Ashburn, and then you've got Melissa McCarthy, who is Mullins. I don't know her first name.
Yeah, I was trying to look out for that, what she was actually called. Just call her Mullins.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Or Melissa McCarthy, but Mullins
Yeah,
seems
pretty
easier.
much. We're pretty going to be doing that.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Because it's like Sandra Bullock, because the FBI agent, I think you've said how she kind of she does like the similar straight act from like she's kind of uptight and everything, and in all the other films that she kind of is in.
Yeah, because we mentioned this, didn't we? So first one I would say is Miss Congeniality. She's an undercover cop in that.
From what I remember, she works for the police force or something like that, but then she has to be able to blend in and
have to be in the part of the beauty pageant. Yeah. Then you've got Proposal, which is just obvious. Like,
corporate. Yeah.
What was the other one? Oh, Lost Island. I feel like that was.
Oh, you mean Lost City?
City?
With
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fairly new, and still, she's like this kind of workaholic, and then becomes this badass in a jungle kind of environment. I'd say
loosens up is more the case rather than a badass.
And then what else? There's another.
I mean, she wasn't really like that in Speed, with Keanu Reeves.
No, that's a different role. Which is nice to see.
That's a good role for her in that. So,
but anything she does do, really, I don't feel like. If it's got Sandra Bullock in it, I feel like I should like it to a degree.
Well, remember from Bullet Train where she was just a voiceover, and then at the very end she kind of disappears very brief.
I don't count that.
No, I'm just saying, like, generally a good performance in how she does her roles, but they are kind of sort of samey, I suppose, in some respects.
I feel like it's Jennifer Aniston's the same thing. She's just Rachel from Friends. It's just the same as this is. It's just. For Sandra Bullock, for some reason, it is. Does that
as a woman, how does that make you feel? As like you sort of like typecast in that way?
No, I think it's not a bad thing really, because I think men do. Like Jason Statham, if you watch Spy, he is the action,
the Cockney.
Yeah. It's the same with Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, anything action based. It kind of, I feel like they just have the niches, and that's where they sit.
A bit like The Rock as well,
Yeah,
he's just
It's like, I feel like if you compare it to an artist doing pop music all the life, and then they try and do something different, and it just doesn't work.
Saying,
I think that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, I guess. But yes, so the first encounter, she takes her spot basically, and she's like, Melissa McCarthy's character Mullins is like, oh, what the fuck, man? Kind of. So there's a lot of that. I mean,
Are you becoming an old granddad? Are you like, oh, they're saying too many F-bombs? Is that what you're saying? And flipping people off and swearing.
I don't know. It's on certain things. It's like in like gangster films and stuff. I don't know. It's It feels more warranted, I
this
suppose.
is
But
so cliche of you, because like you'd listen to a rapper effing and jeffing
I
in
know,
the music
it just-
and you'd be fine, and then a film comes on and you're like, this is not necessary, and your feathers are in a twist. I get it, I do. I think it's a way of portraying Mullen's character, and also I think it's a way that where she's been brought up.
which I understand, yeah, if people in the environment, it'll be people around Bradford are probably exactly the same kind of like her. They just, every other word is a fuck, but, you know.
I was going to say F-bomb, Paul, because I didn't know if our viewers would want to hear you say that word. Listeners, viewers, same thing.
Not the same thing. There's no visuals.
There is, it's your drawings. Anyways.
So, just her attitude is, but I guess that's just how she is.
I
And
feel
it's
like she's like that in many roles.
Yeah, but I don't think like even in Bridesmaids she was that
Yeah.
She
wasn't vulgar, but she was a pain in the arse.
But she's more tolerable in that one, I thought.
No, I thought the opposite
Because
way.
it was almost like, because obviously there was a lot more other characters involved in that, and she was kind of on the sidelines, where this is like a co-lead role with Sandra Bullock, so she has to have more screen presence, and
I think
therefore...
so. I like Melissa McCarthy. I can't really blame her. And I do like her the fact that she's a bigger actress and,
no, nothing
you know,
against that,
symbolising
no.
all of that and the humour and the comedy that she brings. Thinking Bridesmaids, I feel like it's more of a cringy, not realistic, over-dramatised kind of humour, and it's like the Adam Sandler. I just can't tolerate it.
Okay.
Whereas I think in this one,
there is
a bit
of realism,
but I think she's also more sassy. She's more kind of got a back. She has her reasons why she is the way she is, so you can kind of condone it a bit better.
Mhm.
Whereas like shit in the middle of the street or all of that kind of, I know it's not Melissa McCarthy that does shit in the street, but you know, just all of that kind of, even like her flirting with her husband in the plane and kind of,
oh yeah,
it's just all these kind of
but that happens again in this one where
It
it's using
does,
the
but
bar
it's not
and it's
as-
the same.
but she's kind of doing it in a better way.
Right. So I may as well say now, because I know we jump around as we do, but one of the unnecessary like cringy bits is the bar scene where it's that montage of, oh, let's get wasted and let's start dancing with the old people and
Oh, that
all
one.
doing the what's it with the tape on the nose, and that's like, oh yeah, whatever, and it's like, oh, let's boogie down, and it's just that kind of like, just like, ugh.
It's like
just
filling fodder.
Yeah, I mean, this film is like 2 hours long. And it's like, normally something like this could be to like an hour and a half at most. So, for example, having something like that, and it's like, yeah, let's not have that. Put a bit more substance in it. What are you laughing at?
You're using my line. I'm loving this because I'm on the opposite foot. I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I was coming into.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not the most great film out there, and it's one of those that you've seen it, you know it beat for beat. You can't really forget like what it is, and it's not that hard. And then when you put it on, it's just on. It's one of those.
Yeah, but a film shouldn't just be on.
It's just on. It's on the telly, right? Okay, it's light-hearted enough. It's not too cringe. You can just put it on in the background. It's like putting Friends on.
Yeah,
you
but
can potter around
easily,
and do
like,
other things.
That's not what a film should be, though, is it? You don't go to the cinema to potter around, to sit there on your phone going, "Oh, well, this isn't really of interest. I'll just scroll through
but like
Instagram instead or something."
That scene, I agree with you. It's not the greatest, but I thought you were going to gripe about the one where she's trying to get to bug the drug dealer's phone.
Oh, right, okay. I mean, that sort of a little bit, but I think I was actually at that point, because when like Sandra Bullock's trying to get to the guy and this other guy's like trying to approach with drinks, and it's like, no, you kind of push him. That was kind of funny, like oh no, just move over there, and obviously like moving the other girls out of the way and that kind of stuff. That was okay. That wasn't really that cringy or anything like that.
And
or
not ripping her pants off and going, oh, what are those white things underneath?
That was a bit, but it's. Yeah, at least it wasn't going like a thing of like, oh, give me a wedgie or something like that, or it could have gone a lot worse.
You know, I wouldn't have kind of said I'd want to see it again if that was the case.
You're right. Okay. I was thinking, what other things from that scene? Well, I'm thinking you meant when she's trying to lean over and get the phone. It's like, oh, can I sit on your lap or Well, oh, what's that over there? The lions are over there or something.
Yeah, it's like,
something-
why are people adding more lions into the background or whatever it is?
Something, yeah.
But I feel like it's one of those films where I won't say it's the best film made out there, and I think if you try and compare it to that, then yes, this is going to look absolutely rubbish.
Mhm.
But is it the worst film? No,
No,
not in-
no, definitely not.
not in the
not
slightest.
the worst comedy thing. I could definitely say that the Ghostbusters remake with the female cast.
Sexist.
I know that's what people would be saying. Oh, you're sexist because Ghostbusters can't be female, but that was pretty weak,
It was.
really.
And we're not blaming Melissa McCartney in that either.
McCarthy,
Whatever her name is.
yeah,
It's Melissa, shall we just say?
I guess.
I think you do struggle with a little bit of humour from women. I think you do. I know you did say there was that girl.
Oh yeah, but that's because she's got like dry humour. That's more my style, which is Diane Morgan.
She's funny, like she is.
It's the bluntness of how she comes out. Like if you watch, if people recommend, if you do like that sort of humour, it's called. The characters she plays called Philomena Kunk, but it's like Kunk on Britain or the Earth or something like that. I think it's on BBC iPlayer, but you probably YouTube it and you probably find episodes uploaded there. And it's that kind of like she's acting like thick, but it's in a way that's kind of like but almost the point with some of the stuff she comes out with. But that's, so to me, that's funny. But
I feel like Taya from the Love of History would absolutely love that kind of humour about it, because it is actually educational.
I'll try,
to the same degree as
but not
taking the P out of it. So it works quite well, I think.
yeah.
It's kind of giving you a little bit of a lesson.
Yeah, not much of a history lesson.
Some there.
aspects, but not. Yeah, don't take it to heart. But
not all of it.
But yeah, there is a comedian who's in this, and if you remember from when we were watching Breaking Bad, I kind of pointed out like that ginger-haired guy who's in it, Bill Burr, and Melissa McCarthy's character's family's from Boston, and he's got a strong Bostonian accent, so it kind of wished that we saw more of his character be on the screen, I guess, because I do like he's kind of like he's got that brashness about him, but there's some, I don't know, it's whether that is a sexist thing of like, oh, because he's a male he's funnier because of the way, but I don't know, there's something about the way he delivers lines is funnier to me.
I think it's more relatable. I think that's what it is. I don't think it's sexist. I think it's just more relatable to you. That's why you find it funnier.
Yeah, but he's not saying anything specifically like, oh, men have it so hard because of, or anything like, but just his attitude.
You could put yourself in his shoes more. I think that's what I'm saying. Like from a male perspective.
Right.
Whereas a female perspective, I find Melissa funny. Like, I wish I could do what Melissa's just done to like that guy.
Yeah.
With the prostitutes.
Yeah.
You know.
Smack him around or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay,
and I think that's what I'm meaning. It's more like you can relate more to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it is, you do have a lot of cast, even though you've got your two main ladies. Like, Mullins' family is massive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with this, there is actually a deeper storyline within it for both of the characters. You do have a bit of character development of why they are the way they are. And it's nice because it's not like a flashback or anything like that. It's just in conversation, like getting to know them.
Well, I think there's more to do with Mullins' past, and obviously it's more right there and then because they're based in Boston. And you see the family and all that kind of stuff, and the brother, and that he's all wrapped up in this. He's in prison and such. Whereas it's almost like a throwaway bit. This is obviously around the bar scene point when it's like, oh, just find out that Sandra Bullock's Sarah is a foster child, and then it's kind of like, oh, my life's rubbish, whatever. And then it's okay, moving on. Let's just get wasted, and that's that really. And there's not much more to that. Obviously at the beginning of the film, she's like, everyone's like, oh, really despises her because she's like by the book. That sort of arrogant competitiveness of like, oh, well, I found all the drugs in this bus, and then the guns behind this cabinet and all that kind of stuff. But,
and I think it's probably from not having approval from somebody that's why she's kind of such a perfectionist. At least you don't have a parent saying, oh, good job, you've done well. She's had that harder upbringing where she hasn't had that encouragement, so she's had to do it herself. So you can kind of see the traits and the realistic why she would be the way she is. Yeah. And probably not building up great social skills because she hasn't had that foundation at a young age.
I guess.
So that's how I see it. Whereas Mullins brought up on a kind of rougher estate.
Mhm.
She's not had a lot. She's got a lot of family.
Yeah, so her parents and her siblings are brash, so therefore
She is.
Yeah.
And I think that's just how you have to be in that area that she's in
Mhm.
to get by. It's just a persona you've got to build up. And she does that really well, but also in her cop field, she's got a pride. She actually has a career and a profession. And I think her family don't get that.
That's right, but they also, I've seen like the other cops in the precinct also see her as a bit of a joke anyway as well, because there's like that scene in the boardroom and they're like, oh, well, they'll get partnered up with her because
That's at the end,
she's
isn't
like
it?
a loose screw kind of thing.
And she is a bit of like a bomb ready to
Wild
tick
card,
off.
yeah.
But at the same time, just because she's passionate is generally just because she cares and she's so involved and sees it day to day because she lives there
Mhm.
that she just wants to do good. Like she even put her own brother in prison. Like that must have been hard to do.
No, I totally understand, but it's, I guess, just some of the mannerisms of how she perceives it. I think I can't quite get past that, I suppose, but it's because they're almost like trying to bring it around to like a sentimental moment, but then it kind of quickly passes by very quickly. But I know that's not generally the way the comedies go. You're not really looking for anything really deep in
No.
a film like this. That's just how it is. It's targeted for, like you say, like a light-hearted, maybe not completely like just walk around and do stuff in the background, but because I don't think, unless obviously if you've got kids and you're sitting them in front of like cartoons and stuff and you're not paying attention to it, then fine. But obviously, like what's the point of having something on if you're not kind of sit
Well, I
and watch
think
it?
obviously the first watch you want to fully watch it, but once you know it like the back of your hand,
Yeah, I guess if
it's not an issue if there's a bit that you like you're saying, like
No,
the
if
bar
you know
scene.
if you know it very well, then yeah.
Yeah, and it's coming on, you're like, oh, I can just nip to the
Yeah.
toilet while it's still playing or something.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't do that when The Shining was still playing, would you? You'd have to pause it.
No.
Paul's like, I wouldn't move, I'd just sit there and watch it.
Be myself. Have to.
I think as well for Sandra Bullock's character, you've got the promotion under the line. Obviously, if she does well on this job, she'll get made like, I don't know if it's like a higher chief kind of.
Yeah, there's a slot free within the ranks basically, and it's like, oh, someone's stepping down. I could fill that spot if I do. Like obviously, like dangling carrot in front of her to get her to like, you go to Boston and sort this out.
And I think what's frustrating is she knows she could do that job, but she's never going to get it just because A, she's female, and B, nobody likes her. So how can she manage people
Yeah.
if they don't like you?
I mean, they do bring that up. She specifically brings that up, like, oh, it's a tough world. It's like men seem to be really intimidated by female cops.
Yeah.
And it's I can imagine there is that level of struggle in any workplace really.
Mm.
Sometimes it's
Especially even
overlooked.
if it's a physical kind of environment where
Yeah.
being in an army or a police woman, I feel like that will be harder because the men will just think they're cleverer and stronger.
Yeah.
And
It's a sad stereotype on that kind of
yeah,
thing, and I'd like to say I've got no problem with, but either of these two characters being in the roles they are as FBI and police force, no problem with that at all whatsoever. But
coming you back then. No, I
Yeah.
think they play really, really well detectives, and they are.
But they do have
smart
good
and
banter.
intelligent.
I'll give you that. There's the banter between them, and it works because, like, say, Sandra Bullock doesn't really do a lot of like, oh, what the f and all that kind of stuff, and then until a bit later on when she kind of comes out of
Her
that a
shell.
little bit to the people in the boardroom and everything, saying like,
And I think she just delivers that always so well. Like, that's how I see her. Like, I think when you were on about the bar scene, I straight away went to the windows, to the walls from the proposal. And that's what I saw instead. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this is similar. So they've obviously seen her performance in that and gone, all right, we can tailor something.
I don't know if what came first.
The
'Cause-
proposal.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
'Cause 2013 when this came out, so
I'm sure the proposal was earlier than that. Let me check.
or like 2011 something.
2009.
Oh, right, okay. But I mean, I would find that Sandra Bullock going like, "Oh, what the f," a little more funnier than just straight up Mila Suarez dropping them in like left, right, and centre every other word. I think that's more funny to me.
Yeah, I get it, because it's
Then-
like more of a surprise shock. Like,
And no, I mean because the fact that she's purposely going out of the way to not say the expletives,
and then
as
she does.
as opposed to when she does. Any other times when she's like, oh, let's say like, oh, sugar or something. That's funnier. Than,
Oh, I see what
yeah,
you're
yeah,
meaning.
yeah.
Trying
Not-
to cover up the fact of the swearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, I know she didn't say that specifically, but I'm just using an example.
I think she reminds me of me a little bit with that, because sometimes I kind of try and do
Yeah,
different
cover it,
words if
yeah.
I can. Can we go to the scene of the man choking?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Because this was
see-
hilarious for me, just seeing your face.
because that was also a kind of a bit of a cringe bit as well. And yeah,
I've never seen you so squeamish. Like, it was so hilarious, because there's so many times where
there's certain other films where there's not
But
it
you
doesn't seem as
watch-
graphic.
horror films where someone's been chopped up into little tiny pieces like voices, shoved in boxes with fingers poking
Yes, we don't
out.
actually see the
You do. You see him hacking at something and all of
yeah
that.
off screen or something like that. It's not like a straight up like
But still, there's plenty of
No.
other scenes.
because I feel
Even in Squid Game or Battle Royale, like, that's quite bloody and violent.
hmm
And you sat there like, not phased. Fine.
Yes, one, it's not lingering on the fact of someone going thing or anything like that, and also it feels a bit more, I'd say, realistic in the fact that how it's portrayed, even though it's technically kind of isn't really that realistic, because no one would just sit there as someone who's like bleeding out,
Yeah.
basically, because she saw this one thing on this TV show that she was watching about saving someone's life by making an incision in the throat and putting a tube up out or something. It's
She
like,
put it in the wrong place. So it is meant to open you like your
Yeah.
windpipe and let you breathe kind of thing and let air out.
so I don't even know. I had to look away because like all that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, piercings and stuff. I'm not comfortable with. I'd never have anything like that. So I don't even know if you actually see like a gap in the throat or anything. You do. Okay.
Yeah, and then the
Yeah.
blood's squirting out and then it puts a straw in.
Yeah, and then
it's
it's like excessively like.
and the blood's
splurting
coming out of the
and-
straw and
yeah.
everything, and then Melissa just bangs him on the chest and like chokes it out basically. So it wasn't even needed in
I
the
know.
end.
That I don't know what that, because I like thinking that now, like that was a scene that didn't even necessarily, that could have been like on like the extended edition of a DVD or
Yeah,
something.
what
like,
did it add?
What did it add?
The
Other
only
than the
thing,
fact that I remember this from a thing I watched on TV earlier, but it's like, so what?
there is that, but also I think it kind of pinpoints the characters again for me. How like Sandra Bullock's character is subsized, particular, and he's trying to do everything by the book, and yet again, that's kind
Goes
of
wrong.
goes wrong.
hmm
And then you've got your Mullins,
Mm.
bull in a china shop going, boom, there you go,
Yeah.
done. And it shows that sometimes I think Sandra Bullock's character just overthinks far too much of what needs to be done instead of
Mhm.
just reacting to what should
Yeah.
be done. Like, just right. It's like a fight or flight kind of moment.
I guess you could see it that way. Yeah. Good point.
Thanks. I'm really doing well at this podcast thing. But I did love you being, you suffering was my class of a good night. Like, I really, really enjoyed seeing you suffer. And I think that's only because I know I'm your wife and I love you dearly. But at the same time, how many times have you made me suffer? And it was just like, I didn't know this was going to even affect you. So it was out of nowhere. So that's what made it even better. It was like,
Well, it was no, you know it was coming.
yeah, but I didn't know this reaction on your face was going to happen.
Yeah, no, it's like with needles and stuff. Like I have to look away. Obviously, people doing heroin injections or something. In
So
film
you
and
want to
stuff.
come with me for my dentist treatment then? Because I've had a filling at the bottom and awfulest pain ever with this needle in my cheek. So
But
being,
I've had that before when I've been in the dentist chair myself.
yeah,
ages
but I
ago.
wimped out 30 years old and I was like, my mum's coming in with me because I don't want this pain.
So another thing where obviously there's involving incisions. That other bit where they get captured, tied up at the end with the
Yeah.
back end, and they get
Because there's a twist as well in the film. Did you see that coming, by the way, as well?
what twist?
That-
What, one of the cops was a bad guy
Yeah, but it wasn't the albino, which I thought it was.
when you first watched it. You mean?
Yeah.
Or did you forget?
No, when I first
Okay.
watched it.
Oh, okay. I think that was too obvious.
Thanks,
But-
Paul.
Because obviously they made a point about bringing it up about like,
Yeah,
oh,
but then I
he looks
thought-
like a villain and stuff like. No, it's like
Is it like a humorous thing where it's like, oh, he looks like a villain, but actually no, he's not. And then actually he is, and that's like the end of it.
No.
But
I mean, I wasn't like, oh my god, it's that guy. I was like, it's.
Well, that makes a good
that
film,
guy.
then.
What do you mean? Sorry.
so you didn't know it was going to twist at the end, so that makes it a good
No.
film.
I knew it was going to be like one of the cops thing, but I didn't know which one specifically. I
Well-
didn't think it was going to be the albino guy because that would be way too obvious. But I wasn't like, oh my god, he didn't really go way off what we was talking about. But now, but with his motivations weren't like, wow, yeah, I can see where you're coming from, why you want to do what you're doing. I was so disinterested in him being like the reveal of who he was. He looked like almost like a nobody in a sense. Like, how's this guy like the drug lord of this whole situation? He's just
Well, you
looks
could think that about what's his name now?
Walter White.
Walter White, yeah.
Yeah, but at least there's a lot more of a
a reason,
character,
an emotive.
yeah, motive behind his
True.
thing, and a lot of episodes to work with on that, building that up,
Yeah,
as opposed to this.
you're
But-
right. Going back to the leg as well.
Yeah, okay.
So obviously they're being captured by the guy that now is the drug lord or whatever.
Well, one of his henchmen who just stabs her and Sandra Bullock in the leg.
and he looks really like he actually looks more.
He looks more like he could be the ringleader.
Yeah.
than
He does.
the other guy looks really bland to be in comparison, but maybe that's the point. He's just
Yeah.
like, oh, you least suspect, sort
Exactly.
of, but he still doesn't, look like he's got anything about him. Like he couldn't.
No.
But anyway.
And he doesn't really last long, anyways.
Well, that's another thing, but we'll get to that after I get to this point about the leg thing. So they're in that situation, and she gets stabbed in the leg. He walks out the room for a second, so they're like, all right, Melissa, you get this knife out of my leg and cut yourself free. And then she's like, oh shit, someone's coming back. Right, got to put the knife back in your leg. And again,
That's
another
true.
cringy, like, oh, just don't do the whole, oh, I accidentally stabbed somewhere else, so I can't get it back in. And it's like, oh, freak, please, come on. And it was just like, oh, just really annoying.
I am loving life because that didn't even affect me. I was like, yeah, it's realistic. She needs to put it back because they're going to wonder where the knife is. It's obvious it's going to have to go back. Like, oh, Sandra, hold it, but then that still looks a bit weird. So it's like, well, what do you do in that situation? So yeah, you're going to have to put it back in the leg, and that's just how...
get up, and she could definitely have tackled the guy whoever was coming, just like before they even realised, go, wait, what the hell? And then like she's already got up out the chair and I don't know, does something. But anyway,
Just recreating the whole entire film here, Paul. I'm so interested to see what your score is going to be.
so on to that last bit where he's just about, he doesn't last long.
Mm-hmm.
That
How
was
did you feel? Did your gonazes, or whatever you want to call them, or little tiny things in your panties, shrivel up when...
Actually, no, they didn't.
They
really.
didn't?
I think it was kind of just like is that it? That's the end of him, essentially.
He didn't die. He was taken off on a...
Oh, no.
So that annoyed me. It was like, why is he not dead?
What annoyed me was that was like the final confrontation. That was it. It was just simply just shooting him in the dick, which is what in South Park they say don't do. It's like, oh, it's not cool to do that. Shoot a guy in the dick.
It's not cool to shoot a woman in her boobs then, or...
I know. I'm just making the joke of that. What South Park says, but it was so just. Oh, is that it? Kind of like just that scene's done, and that's the final. We've stopped him. Hooray! Moving on. There wasn't like a big, like how some things might end up with like a big final showdown, like that could have taken place in that warehouse thing or something, a big shootout or something dramatic. It was just so much like, oh,
you're wanting an
bond.
action film. This isn't. This is a comedy action. There's a difference.
Buddy cop things are fine, but you can still have a little bit of action in it.
Yeah, I don't think that's what this film was going for.
Yeah, I think that's
you're
what
just
it's kind
missing
of.
the whole idea.
Yeah, you can have comedy and you can have action. You can have a bit of both. You don't have to have. Yeah.
I'm just winding you up, and it's really working. because I'm the boss in this podcast today. Because I've seen the film, you haven't. You're a newbie. You don't know what you're on about. So, opinions on once she'd shot him in the gonads, guy had been taken off the stretcher, still alive, but obviously can never have babies.
Oh, boo-hoo. I could give a shit about that.
And then she's obviously walking out of the hospital. Obviously, Sandra's still...
Oh, yeah, because that was the bit she was trying to crawl across the floor and had to slide in and do the... to the nuts.
Yeah. Well, obviously, it was just the angle. She didn't mean to do it in the nuts.
No, but it's like, I thought when that scene was happening, because she's obviously like trying to just crawl away over to Melissa McCarthy, it's like out of shot, and I thought she was going to be like, oh, come on, can you just hurry up and move already, kind of thing, like, because obviously she's trying to like, bide some time.
Yeah.
To the guy who's going to kill her brother, basically, with this injection with the
Kind
oxygen into
yeah.
the thing. Yeah, obviously not.
Well, obviously, he was trying to kill Melissa McCarthy's brother.
Yeah.
With an injection.
Yeah.
And, like you said, Melissa was eking it out.
Yeah.
Sandra, obviously, bless her, she's trying, but she's done something to her ankle, so she can't walk. So you didn't like the fact that she was dragging herself across the floor. How else did you expect her to get by?
Well,
the wheelchair wasn't working.
Should have tried harder.
But after all that's kind of happened, and then they're walking out and they're like, oh shit, actually you need to get seen to, basically.
Yeah, we're already in a hospital and then walk back in. Like,
and then she's on the stretcher. Did you see the kind of connection between the other...
Oh yeah, that romance they're trying to build up throughout the film, yeah.
Yeah.
I forget is it Wayne? One of the Marlon Wayne brothers, I think he is. He's normally, I remember him from like when he used to do like Scary Movie and that kind of, those kind of films.
Didn't know he was from there. He didn't actually bug me in this. He was the most likable.
No, he was the most likable because he was kind of sweet and endearing because he was like, he's sort of like hitting on Sandra Bullock, but he kind of like just didn't go anywhere for that he wanted really. But then it's kind of like, oh, there's something at the end just for that. So it's okay, whatever. But was there anything else you bringing up about that, or just...
No, I just wondered how you felt about that, really. What about the last scenes then, when obviously Sandra moves to Boston, and Mullins writes in Sandra's yearbook.
Oh yeah, you've got a family now. Yeah, I feel like that was meant to be like, oh, pull up the heartstrings part of the film.
Yeah,
but I didn't really have. I don't know if you ever, anytime you've watched this, going like, oh my god.
A little, like, kind of depends on how emotional I am.
Oh.
But also, like, I felt a little bit for Mullins when she was on the stage and all the family are wooing her when she gets her award.
Yeah, actually respect them.
Yeah, that was, like, really nice to see because obviously that's all she really wanted and she's only doing it to make her family safe.
No, I get that, yeah. You know, there's those tick list of things to, like, wrap up. Everyone's kind of gets what they want kind of thing. Or,
yeah.
You know, everyone's sort of happy.
The cat.
Oh, yeah, because there was a joke that kind of happens just before the end credits, and obviously at the beginning of the film when Sandra's in New Jersey, where she's based, and she has this cat who's actually her neighbour's cat, and she's like, because she's so lonely that she's kind of like stealing it from them just to have somebody to comfort her while she's watching TV.
A cute name though, Pumpkin.
Pumpkin, yeah.
I quite like that.
He's orange. So
yeah.
He's fat.
Like a pumpkin.
Yeah. I'd say that was kind of a shame it was like at the very end, but I guess it then went on a strong point, I suppose, with that being one of a good joke, I suppose. Like, oh, well, I brought your cat over from where you used to live, and it's like, oh, great, thanks. And it's like, this isn't your cat, is it? So, okay, gotta take him.
Yeah, which was funny, and I think obviously she said that she had a cat and she couldn't find him, and that was her lie because she had pictures with this cat that's not actually hers.
Yeah.
And didn't want to admit, like, complete failure that she can't even have a cat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that kind of works a little bit. It wasn't, like, rip-roaringly funny, but...
Did any of this film make you laugh?
A couple of chuckles here and there, but if I was to say... If I wrote it down, I don't even know if I did or not. Like, one of them was when Sandra was at Mullins' family's house in Boston. We were just at the dinner table. And one of them says, I'm trying to do the accent here, but are you a narc? And she's like, a what? Like, oh, you mean a narc? No, yeah, that's what I said. A knack. But it's obviously that's the way the Boston accent is kind of. So I guess it's obviously like just a little bit of humour on that. The fact that a pronunciation of words and stuff is the one. But was there another one? If it was probably earlier on in the film. I think it was just more like passing comments.
Did it go downhill? Whereabouts did it kind of get to a point where...
Let me see. I think it was probably after the bar scene.
Then you were just by yourself and you were like, when's this ever going to end?
The only unexpected thing was I genuinely didn't like see coming, and it was probably the most action-y part in a sense, was when to recovered, coming out from the bar. It's like, this gave this car away to this guy, this random guy from the bar. He gets in the car and the car blows up. Like, oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that last thing I was expecting from this, to be honest. So,
and also it's kind of a bit of a shit that would have been us.
Could have been me, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is that it, Paul? Is that all you've got to bring?
I mean, they do bring up the film title in the film, saying like bringing the heat.
Yeah,
basically.
they do.
And they say again like later on when that's when like Sandra's character comes
Full
round
circle,
a little bit, a little more of a badass, I suppose, in that. So she's helping her. Mullins' character.
Yeah, they become really close to it then. It's quite nice in a sense. With the bar scene, though, there was a relatable scene or something, or you said you didn't, when the cheersed and the glass broke in the hand.
Oh, yeah.
And you said you've had
not
that.
Not in the same sort of way, not the drunken sense.
Oh, that surprises me.
But my incident, where I was referring to, was when I was working at Bradford Theatres, Alhambra, and just cleaning the glass or picked it up or something, and it, just for whatever reason, just kind of just shattered in my hand, just from like touching it up, but with a cloth or
You've
something.
just been too much like a Hulk on it.
No, not really. I wouldn't have said so. And then it just shattered, and I'd like, me and my thin blood.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I think I still got a scar somewhere.
Oh, I think that's because you just niggle at them and you mess with your scars.
No.
That's why, or you just.
No, it was like a really deep
Okay.
cut in it, but it was just would not stop bleeding. And
it's not the most pleasant thing,
No.
but I think it's better when you're drunk and then you don't realise the pain.
Yeah. No, it was horrible. Yeah. Not great. But
What about horrible memories for you? Melissa McCarthy's vulgarness. Sandra Bullock, you can't fault her in it. You really can't. I feel like she's brilliant.
the best thing about the film. And Bill Burr, but I would wish there was more of him. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that.
Okay, so are we ready for scores?
Yeah, it has to be me.
I feel like I'm running this quite well. Asking you questions, all of that. So, Paul, just so that you know, we do a voting schedule, just in case you've forgotten, because obviously I'm in charge of this podcast. We vote from 1 to 10. 10 being the lowest, 1 being the
nice try.
highest.
Nice. Nice try.
I thought I'd try.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Didn't like my humour there.
How long have we been doing this? And that's it's not going to be like, okay, yeah. Some credit.
I was just going to try. I know you're going to score it really low, so I thought, oh, well, we'll spice it up
Well,
a bit.
I don't know if you think it's going to be low as you.
I'm not telling you until you say.
Okay.
I've got a score in mind. This is how this
Okay.
works. The person who hasn't seen the film scores
Yeah,
first.
I know.
It's been plenty of times I've had to do my score first.
So it wasn't good. But
Oh, great critique.
but it wasn't too bad either. So I'm going to be what I deem is fair and give it 5 out of 10.
Is that it?
That's it.
Is that all you're going to say about it?
Well, I mean, I don't know what there's more to say about it really, because it is what it is as a comedy, but it wasn't too irritating. It was irritating, but it wasn't too irritating to like something like you would be like, oh my god, I can't. Why am I seeing like some like? I obviously haven't seen like Paul Blart Mall Cop, but I just imagine that just be,
I've
like,
seen that. It's awful.
gouge my eyes out.
You would.
Terrible.
No, you
But-
would. I've seen it, and I hated it. My sister used to put it on all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Oh,
She
she-
really likes comedies, and I absolutely hate them. I think she went the opposite way.
But-
She grew up with them and she enjoyed them, and I
Right.
didn't.
But you enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
To some extent,
I don't
assume.
really. It is a comedy, but it's got a bit more than just a comedy
Mhm.
comedy to
Okay.
it.
Right.
It's not your cliche comedies.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I certainly don't think I'll be like, oh, rushing back to watch this one again. That's why I'm sort of playing it safe with how I'm scoring it, I suppose, because I'm not saying, oh, this is really terrible in what it has to offer. I can see a slight cut above some of the comedies that are out there and just intolerable, but it's nothing really special. It doesn't do a great deal for me. It's just what I'll say on that.
Right. Okay. You've spoken.
Yeah. Oh, also, I'd like to add that obviously people can listen to the Bridesmaids episode that we've done, with Paul Feig, the director. So I kind of base my score as that.
What
which
did you
was
give Bridesmaids?
6.5.
So you actually think Bridesmaids is better than this?
I think there's more humour that I kind of liked in that than what this did.
Well, you told
There's
me
not more memorable stuff that I can think of that kind of. But yeah,
you told me my score of Bridesmaids, and I was shocked to know that I gave it a 7. And I don't know if that was like this nostalgia of, oh, we're getting married soon and all of that. And if I rewatched it now, I've been married and we are married. And I don't think I would give it as highly, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
I think I would struggle.
Right, yeah.
And that's the difference between these two films.
Mhm.
So I feel like Bridesmaids would be lower down in my book. I'd probably give it a 6, a 5, roughly. I think this can be a 7. Sandra Bullock definitely bumps it up. I think if she wasn't in it, I'd probably be sitting at a 6. But
Right.
it's also, like you say, you can put it on. It's not offensive. It is with the swearing and stuff, but it's not kind of too much, like, as in cringe. Whereas Bridesmaids is more full on cringe, and it's just like, ugh, and it just gets on your nerves. Whereas this is like a little bit of cringe and then an actual story is within there. Bridesmaids is good, but I feel like if it just took the comedy out, I'd enjoy that film a lot more.
I don't know what you'd have if you took the comedy out of.
No, but I feel like it's one of those more sensible humours, not like OTTT humour, then it would work better.
Mhm.
So I think a 7. It's not the greatest film out there. It's not the worst film out there. It's not one that I say I highly, highly recommend and it's great. But at the same time, I think Sandra Bullock's performance is knockout. And Melissa McCarthy, to be honest, it's one of her best roles that she's been in.
'Cause it sounds
Apart from Gilmore Girls, when she was Suki.
a bit more subdued in that. I
She's
reckon.
lovely, yeah.
Yeah, more humble.
But still a klutz and a bit stupid and dim, but you love her for it.
Yeah, because I can imagine from what you've described of her and that being more tolerable.
Yeah,
I guess.
Gilmore Girls is brilliant. Like, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
But again, that's more of a realistic portrayal of a show as
Yeah.
opposed to what this is going for with the comedy elements.
No, I agree.
So obviously, because I'm thinking of when you've given other things like 7s and stuff. So it's
It's just mediocre.
oh yes, forget that. That's your 7 that's your mediocre middle ground. For some
Yeah,
reason.
8, 9, and 10s are highly recommended. 7
Mhm.
is just yeah.
Mhm.
It's not the worst film. Like a 5 is like your shit. It's like
Right,
it's on the
okay.
shit pile,
Right. Okay.
and this isn't.
Right. Whereas, yes, for me, like I say, it's neither good nor terrible for me. So sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you had to suffer it, but I'm
Well-
not. I actually really enjoyed that you suffered it. But
Well,
I know
like
that
I
I'm
said-
saying that, and then
yeah.
Karma's going to be, you know,
Well, no, not necessarily.
not
'cause
in May.
No, because we've got other stuff, a whole themed month planned for that.
Can we say yet?
Yeah, we may as well. Yeah.
Okay. So, because I'm Sophie the podcast queen, because it's my podcast this week. In May, we're going to be doing a whole month of something very exciting that Paul cleverly thought of, and I'm just going to take the credit for it now by saying the name,
Go on.
is Anna May. All your anime in May.
Very much. Yeah.
And we've already recorded one, so, I mean, like, we've even organised. So, I mean, just beautiful not Studio Ghibli, but just Japanese artwork. That's nature, beautiful simplisticness. Yes, there's subtitles, but happy Sophie. Don't.
What? What? Pop that little bubble. Fair.
I saw
Well,
your face.
We'll go like, well,
Yeah.
it's not all going to be the same because otherwise that'll get a bit boring, like you'd say about the Monster Mash stuff.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. I'd enjoy it. You twat. I can't look at you.
I haven't picked up what it is yet, but there's a whole shelf of stuff over there, and
You're gonna ruin anime for me, aren't you? You saw the smile like fall asleep, being deluded.
No, not completely. I'm not saying completely. Like there's the one nice one, and then the rest are all kind of like
No,
really
but I
dark
can imagine there's going to be some dark ones in it, and I'm just not going to enjoy them.
But there's a whole aspect of other anime stuff.
I don't want to know that aspect.
So you live in your little fluffy bubble.
Thank you. That's how I get by in life.
No. So I look forward to going through that month.
I was. So if you want to be part of this family and be part of this like domestic
Don't be bitter.
like animosity, then we do have a Patreon page that you can join and vote and vote against Paul and give me my fluffy anime, because I'm guessing they'll have a thing in
Of course
May.
they will, yeah. But I
be
don't
a
know
Patreon.
what will be the
I
fight
know
against.
sometimes it's out of your controls, guys. I get it. You only have a choice of what he picks.
Well, yes, that's
So,
the point.
If you do want to be part of the Patreons,
hmm
then Paul does this bit, so...
Great stuff. So if you want, also, you would like to shout out the people who have already patrons before? Give me the details.
Okay, so there's Mark from 100 Things We've Learned from Film, Ben from Film Bloggers, our friend Jones at Weight Loss Jonesy
On Instagram, that is.
on Instagram. I'm so sorry that I forgot that part. Jesus. There's my mum.
Mhm.
And Nico from the Good, the Bad and the Weird podcast.
That's right. And so if you would like to join our little family, get your name shouted out and your socials or whatever you want plug in, and you want to have the opportunity to vote on what we watch once a month, then you go to patreon.com/SP Film Viewers to sign up for as little as £1 British pound or $1.50 a month.
British pound. Why do we sound so posh?
Why not?
So if you do
Yeah,
want to follow those British Yorkshire people, well, you're a brummie at heart, but yeah, there's problems with that, but it's okay.
Not really. Why'd you marry me if there was problems?
Well, I just pretend you're Yorkshire, so it's all right.
Well, I practically am.
Yeah, pretty much. So if you do want to follow us on social media, see what Paul's buying, where he spends all his money, and that's why we never go anywhere, and then you can do, and you can follow us on TikTok. I know you're going to keep this in there.
This is funnier than what we watched. Yeah, find us on TikTok. in your local supermarket or
I
newsagents.
promise I haven't been drinking. You know, it's mid-afternoon when we've been recording this. I promise. So maybe there will be a new platform called TikTok out there. You never know. Well, I think TikTok's a bit stupid anyways, but that's showing my age. What does it even mean? Like Twitter I get, Facebook I get. It's a face on a... I don't really get the book, but... Anyways, if you do want to follow us for more content, then you can do on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and you can follow us under the handle SP_film viewers.
There we go. Yeah.
Whew, that was hard.
But it's
Right.
funny though, so.
Well, you're doing the next bit. I'm done.
Mhm. And if you'd like to, of course, listen to some of our other episodes, and also if you would like to leave us a 5-star review, you can go and find us over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Podchaser, and wherever else you get your podcasts from. And I think all those sites do the scoring system as well, so you can do that too.
Yeah, and definitely score us for his like end of the ramble. I mean, Jesus. being a bit ropey, aren't they? It's because I'm in control. It's okay, guys. Back to normal form next week. Don't worry.
Yeah, but excited to release that first episode.
But I really hope you've enjoyed listening to what we've had to say and enjoyed Paul suffering as much as I have. We do love one
Doesn't
another.
happen very often.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, darling. So I have to enjoy it when it does.
Embrace it, yeah.
Yeah.
No. I hope you kind of enjoyed listening anyway.
I did.
Yeah, I don't know what you really expected. What was the score you thought in your head?
Oh, I was thinking like a 4 or a 3. I really
Okay.
thought you were going to
Okay.
throw it under the bus, basically.
Okay. So it was
A Spy, I could imagine you'd have gone off your head.
Okay. So yeah, dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, so thank you to you patrons, basically.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I've seen Spy, and I don't remember it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for voting, and thank you very much for listening. And we will speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Bye.
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 Bye.